Welcome back. Now, I have two special guests in the house here. We're going to be talking about something called the Mandela Washington Fellowship. They're going to be telling us a lot more about it. I have here with me Rita Omobude from the Mandela Washington Fellow. You're a Mandela Washington Fellow.
Yes, I am.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
And my namesake, Ebuka Emebina. Thanks for being here today from Phillips Consulting.
Thank you.
What is this about? And okay, just give us a brief rundown of what the Mandela Fellowship is about.
Okay, so earlier this year, about 50,000 Africans applied for the Mandela Washington Fellowship. And with the Mandela Washington Fellowship, you could apply for the business entrepreneurship track, the civic leadership track, or the public management track, out of which only 500 Africans were selected. In Nigeria, there were 44 of us. And we got to do a 6-week training in universities in the United States. And some people had to stay back to do internship. And we're back, and we're about to use all that we've learned and to develop Nigeria.
I'm going to come back to you now to find out how that particular experience went. But Ebuka, how does this work? And I hear Nigeria has 50 slots. Are these people chosen? What is it entirely about?
Yeah, it's an annual program. It's instituted by President Obama. He feels that Africa's problem is manpower, and most of Africa's manpower is young. In Nigeria and across West Africa, the average age of people most of the population is aged less than 35, and so are classified as youths. So this program is specifically targeted at young people who are assuming leadership positions in various areas in their communities, in their workplace, and are touching lives. Basically, the program targets this set of people with the hope of bringing them to the United States, having a 6-week academic institute, and subsequently a 3-day presidential summit where you get to rub minds with other African leaders across the continent. And it's going to be an annual process, really. So every year, there's one this year, 2014. There'll be another one in 2015, and the applications are currently open. So we're asking young, eligible Nigerians to put in for this because we want to present our best to the world.
Yeah. What did you have to do to get in?
We had to apply. There were a couple of essays that we had to write. I remember when I was preparing my essay, I had to think of myself as the president of Nigeria. If I today was a president of Nigeria, what would I say the problems are, and what are my strengths, and how do I feel that I can solve that problem? And I also have had to, do things that are notable. I run an organization called Street Project Foundation, of which I'm founder and lead visionary, and I help young people get employment through that means, using performing arts as a tool. So you definitely have to have started some level of leadership, either corporate, either civic, either in public management.
So it's strictly for entrepreneurs?
Would I say entrepreneurs, but young people who are doing things, young people who are not comfortable with the status quo, young people who believe that they need to play a role in making their country better. We can't just stay dominant and then just keep complaining about the situation. But young people who are impacting their communities one way or the other, whether through business entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship, charity, philanthropy, whatever that is, So it's not just business.
What exactly do people look for to select the 50 from Nigeria, for example?
Okay, yeah. Something which caught my fancy throughout this program is the fact that there's an emphasis on gender balance. So women are very much encouraged to apply. In fact, for the 2014 class, it's 50-50, 50 men, 50 women. So there's a specific focus on that. And then people in the rural areas, rural communities, you're doing things there, you're based there, you're touching lives, you're affecting old people, little children, whatever you're doing really, and also people in government. There are people who are making policies, policymakers, young people, policymakers. They are all encouraged to apply.
Okay, very interesting. When we went there, how many Africans in total were there, first of all?
500.
500 Africans?
Yes.
And what was the experience like? What did you have to do when you were in America?
It was amazing because, first of all, let me say that one of the most important things is networking. And also the fact that there are young people all over Africa who are seeking to be better and better people, and also want to improve on their manpower and their skills and all of that. We also had to train in class, and we also got a lot of exposure on how leadership operates in the United States of America. It was amazing to note. One story was one of Latoya Cantrell, who, because I was in New Orleans, I was in Tulane University in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I got to meet with Latoya Cantrell, who is a member of council. You know, that would be a speaker, maybe in the local government setting, assembly, yes. And it was amazing how very close to the community she is, because she's still there doing a lot of things, very close to the community, feels the pulse, and the solutions she prefers are not solutions she just thinks off the top of her head, but it's a response to what the community needs. So those are the things that I learned. And one of the other things that we learn is servant leadership. The fact that you are governor, the fact that you're a professor doesn't mean that you talk down on people, but you dialogue. You speak with people and you treat people with respect. So whoever you are, whether you are a driver, whether you are a senior director in whatever company it is, you treat each other with respect. Those were the learnings from the fellowship. Yes.
Interesting. Is there like an age limit for this, first of all? And secondly, what does the application process require?
Okay, yeah, the application process, you have to fill a form online. The website is www.youngafricanleaders.state.gov. Now, the age limit, there's a cap of 35, but there's really no lower limit. Okay. So if you're exceptional, the lower limit should be 25, but if you're exceptional, in our class there was someone who was less 22. Than 20. She was 22, and she was actually selected because she's doing great things. So there's really no fixed band for the age, but not more than 35. So
what does this form? When you fill this form, are you writing a letter? Are you writing an application? What is it exactly?
You're writing essays.
Okay.
One thing they also want to get out of it is a good command of English. Yeah. You should be able to communicate well in English, both written and oral, and also a good grasp of who you are, and what you feel the problem is that you can solve in your community or in your nation. Okay. So you must have reached a level of maturity of the need to want to change your world.
Okay.
Yes.